Our next speaker is Ms. Emily Hong from Wiwynn, who is the chair and the chief strategy officer for Wiwynn. The topic of her talk today is how AI computing power reshapes the global industrial landscape. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm really thrilled to come here to share with you our observations. Actually, the topic of my presentation is assigned to me by the Taipei Computer Association. So it's titled How AI Computing Power Reshapes Global Industrial Landscape. So most of my presentation will focus on the industry instead of talking about or showing off our products. So since we are here to talk about industries, why don't we start with Taiwan? We all know that Taiwan has a strong and pivotal role in ICT industry. So let me share with you some statistics. So there are more than 25 Taiwanese ODMs and OEMs, and we have manufactured more than 92% of the servers or 75% of the PCs around the world. So with that, Taiwan has also pushed for the development of the industries of the components. And of course, there's the semiconductors. So we have software and hardware vendors in Taiwan. So we have a lot of these hardware and software vendors here as well. And on the right side, you see a lot of the statistics or data for the semiconductor. For example, we have accounted for 60% of the capacity for advanced manufacturing in the world, and our total output value exceeds 78% of the world's total. So in addition to that, we have a strong ecosystem and a strong cluster here in Taiwan. So we have attracted AWS, Intel, NVIDIA, and other CSP as well as industry partners to come here to set up their R&D centers or manufacturing centers. So 92% of the servers, like I said, what does that mean? Right here, it says ODM Direct. It means the IDC. This is a segment from IDC. So when you see this chart, it means the amount or volume. It means server quantity. So this actually is a statistics from 2010 to 2024. So colors represent different brands. The green ones means the emerging direct ODM direct, and there's the blue and IBM and Novo. So right here, the ODM direct of Taiwan actually started from 2010. The CSP started to venture into Taiwan, and that was when we started. We started off with 5.7%. Now, in 2024, we accounted for 37% of the world's market share. So, of course, most of them are contributed by these four companies. So, this is the result achieved by me and our esteemed competitors. So I would say that the shares, the market shares have been diluted, and we are seeing some competitions from China. Now, when it comes to servers, we must know some figures. So there's data centers and IT infrastructures CAPEX. Well, in 2024 and 2023, you will see that there is an increase of 56% year-on-year growth. So just a few days ago, you see a lot of the news saying that some companies are halting their business or terminating their production lines. However, last week, you see that the capex coming from these companies are still going strong. So it's around 24 to 25% of growth this year. We know that AI server will account a majority. So the bar right here is the revenue of AI servers. And up here, you see the share of AI servers as opposed to all the servers. So you see 2024 is a turning point because in 2021 we see the growth kicking off. And this year the growth rate will not be as astonishing as before. However, it is still growing. The growth momentum will, of course, bring in a lot of changes into the industry. So, from three perspectives, so of course, like I said, I'm focusing on the server industry. I can't focus on all the industries here, so let me just focus on the server industries. So AWS talked about all the amazing applications and everything. Um, I can't imagine showing my videos to you because my videos are actually not that amazing. Well, we have to know that hardware is the key to all that amazing stuff you just showed, right? Because we know that computing power actually drives the technical evolution. So I will start from the technical side and AI booming to focus on the emerging players and the markets that they have created. So they not only created new players, but they also created new markets. So a company like us may be able to provide more services and a larger range of products to these people. We know that models are expanding. Computing power, of course, will increase as well. We don't know if it's the computing power that's driving the models or the model that's driving the computing power. So prior to Transformer, the growth was around 8 folds per 2 years. When Transformer launched, you see this breakthrough. This explosive growth is 256 folds within 2 years. So this is a massive change because we need a lot of computing power, be it Intel or other CPU or GPU producers will have to roll out amazing chips. So maybe we can show some TPU, but I'm not sure our stats are correct, so I'm just going to skip this part. So in order to support the computing power, we will have we will have to focus on the power required by the chips. So for now, it's 1,000 watts, but in the next year or two, it will go up to maybe 2,000 watts. So with this power consumption, there's the heat generated through this process. And then you can imagine the industry of dissipation or thermal industry will start to boom. For example, when we start, we have heat sink, and now we are focusing on cold plate, and now immersion cooling, and some even forecast that in the future, that cooling solutions might be integrated within the IC package. Some companies are already investigating into that field. So the cooling capacity actually grew by 1.2 fold within 2 years, and now it's 2 folds within 2 years. Now, in the future, it will be 3 folds within 2 years with the cooling solutions. So I'm sure that all of our colleagues here know that cooling is important. Cooling is the key here. So within all of the exhibitions, you see cooling solutions. And that is why you are seeing a lot of the companies are seeing their share price surging because of their cooling solutions. So within cold plates or immersion cooling, there are actually a lot of opportunities. because you have to know that the technical barriers or the difficulties that we're facing are still there. For example, water leakage. The industry is evolving. So, like I said, there's the computing power that will rely on all of these power consumption. So the demand will drive the technological advancement. But I would also say that the technological advancement will also push for demand. So these are complementary to one another. And now I would like to focus on the players. In the last 10 years, we're seeing the development of cloud technologies. So when it comes to key players, it would definitely be AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Oracle, or Google Cloud. All of these are hyperscalers, and they have created a boom in the cloud industry over the last 10 years. So what they were doing is build to rent, and now we are seeing build to self-use. Maybe Amazon will also have its presence in this sector, but you will see Meta, Apple, or Biden's. They are building their own self clusters because they have their own data center demand. So in the AI era, we are seeing new players. Let's just call them new clouds. Maybe some of you are not familiar with this term. There are some large scales, for example, Cohen, Lambda, Nimbuses. Actually, their backgrounds differed. Some of them were involved in crypto or mining or electricity. I will also talk about Lambda as an example later. It was actually a developer in the past. So in the middle, we are seeing an interesting development. This is the emerging sovereign AI. For example, you see YTL from Malaysia and G42 from UAE, and also Tata from India or Sintel from Singapore. So you're seeing all of these coming from around the world. There's more than 20 of them. They're also trying to build up their sovereign clouds or sovereign cloud computing. So there are a lot of them. And there's also one that's catching the attention. That's the model providers. OpenAI, of course, is a company that needs no introduction. There's also Cohere and Anthropic. All of these are model providers. They will also need a lot of computing powers. I think that last year, Microsoft engaged in a lot of computing establishment or building up their computing powers because of their needs. So in the last 10 years, the cloud hyperscalers took up all the market. Now you're seeing all these different players in the market. And in Taiwan, we are also seeing other players venture into this market. For example, Asus or Acer. So like I said, it was like 10 years ago. The opportunities are ample right now. However, opportunities also come with challenges. For example, Singtel is a telecommunications company, and also YTL from Malaysia. It is a big group already. There's construction, there's power, there's also telecommunication as well. So they were not the traditional AI players, but because AI is too appealing, these players are coming into the market. So YTL ventures into the market. Why is it that this is meaningful? It means that AI is powerful. And YTL is actually a utility company, right? And there's also a telecommunication company under its group. So altogether, they can serve as a best data center player, right? And there's also the construction because they built hotels. So data centers are actually something that they can be good at. And now let me move on to some of the examples. Lambda is an interesting one. In 2013, it was established. It used to be a developer that wrote that developed a lot of applications, and afterwards, this developer believed that he needs to build his own machine and equipment. So he bought a Supermicro's server and NVIDIA's GPU, and all of these combined together helped him create a company, create a machine, and then he wrote his own applications and algorithms. And the machine that they created actually was quite popular within the developer community. So in 2016, it became a hardware provider. 2 years ago, I went to their company and I saw that they had this Tower AI server, and it was actually quite dazzling. And it was very dashing because it will appeal to the players. But because the developer himself believed that they needed to transform because of the funding requirement and demand, they decided to become an AI cloud provider. They focused on their niche market. They focused on the first segment, which is the developer. According to our conversation, for example, Microsoft and AWS has your own cloud, but your developer has their own cloud because they have a technology themselves, and it's also affordable. They will need a lot of AI computing power, so they have a lot of lever, for example, banks, to help them. So they are trying to scale up. Another example I would like to mention is a regional economic changes. Now here I'm going to showcase a video. It's coming from a Singapore's TV station that's actually investigating into Malaysia. Johor has more than 50 companies that is waiting to be accepted into the data center area. The administrative officer Li Tinghan was interviewed, and he said that the development of Johor's data center actually combines the timing and right collection. The reason why Johor can expand so fast is because in 2019, Singapore rolled out a order to suspend their development. So we have seen a lot of data companies relocating to Johor. That is why you're seeing this development. We have to admit that the complementary between Johor and Singapore is at play here. And because of the success rate we have seen a lot of other players being attracted to our region. So we need to maintain the stability of our policy. With that, we will be able to further develop into the next stage. That is, we can try to focus on some industries that serve the data centers, for example, cooling solutions or fueling systems and manufacturing facilities, because the manufacturing sector can create ample job opportunities. From this interview, you can see that it's actually self-explained. It's self-explanatory. In the past, Asian data centers used to be located in Singapore. So why is it that they are now migrating into Johor? Because Singapore has some limited or some restrictions on power supply. We know that Singapore has their own ideas when it comes to resource allocation. So because of that, a lot of data centers have to relocate. Johor is really adjacent to Singapore. That is why you are seeing this development. So on this slide, you see Singapore, that's Johor, and there's Malaysia. I don't think I should be talking about all this because we have experts from Malaysia. So this is just my humble explanation here. So my company during COVID-19 started to migrate our factories from China to other countries. So our delivery center actually was migrated from Guangzhou, China, or Hong Kong to Johor because data centers were mainly centered in Singapore. We hoped that we can move into other sector. Johor became our best options. So this was during COVID, and last year we have been up and running for more than a year. So we built two factories. From Singapore, it's only a 16-minute drive. If you have a smooth custom clearance, it might be 30 to 40 minutes at top. So, like I said, there's the data centers being the data center boom in Johor. Now there are 93 data centers in operations, and 9 of them are still under construction, and more are in application stage. So there are more than 20 data centers in this area. So I think we can talk about YTL because we are partnering with YTL. It's 30-minute drive from our factory. So this is one of the green data center giants in this area. And this is their campus. You'll see that there's power plant, there's water plant, there's also other sorts of facilities. It has a total area of 200 hectares. I think that the Dadu said that we want to ensure that Malaysia could have the latest technology in the world and keep up with the world's trend. In addition to a huge area of land, there are 3 towers there. And then you will see the power plant. It's actually a transformer. So it's a 6 megawatt green data center. And it's now nearly 100 megawatt capacity in its first phase. So it is a leading cloud service provider site. It's also a partner with NVIDIA. Perhaps it is one of the earliest partner of NVIDIA in this area. At the same time, they also provide the sovereign AI computing power for Malaysia in this region. In the case of Wiwynn, we have a lot of CSP as our clients, so we only need to deliver racks to them. But now, we need to build up clusters. So it talks about mega clusters. Actually, we have a lot of cold plates and cases and computer cases or server cases. So a lot of vendors are rack assembly or other operations. However, actually, our clients stream all of these cases together. So we want to create a cluster out of this. This is a huge challenge, but we believe that this is a rare opportunity. We are working with a player that is complementary to our technology. So we hope that we can scale up our scope for our service. Last but not least, made in USA. I think We all know that we are at this point in time, be it the tariffs or the exchange rates, resilience is the key here. You need to be persevere and you need to be resilient. In region, production is a must. We all know that manufacturing in the USA is expensive. So you need to embrace automation so that you can reduce your cost of labor. So Wiwynn focused on in-region delivery, and now we have been in operation for 10 years in Mexico, and 70% of our revenue came from America. The data centers are in all over America, and in Czech, we deliver to Central Europe or other parts of Europe, and Johor delivered to Japan, Singapore, India, or Indonesia, as well as Australia. So Johor is our delivery center for Asia. Now, starting from January and February after Trump was elected, we decided in March that we would set up a factory in Texas. Now, in April 1st, the tariff policy was launched. However, we are qualified for tax exemption, fortunately, but the uncertainty coming from the US administration is uncontrollable, so we have to really be careful. Everything is dependent upon the U.S. policies, and of course, you will see that the cost being increased. But this is a must. This is something we have to do. Now, I would like to show you a video of our automation, but I am really ashamed of ours because I just saw AWS video. So please, this is coming from our company, and don't laugh at me, okay? Don't laugh at us.
And digital twins, we elevate manufacturing automation through seamless collaboration and optimized factory planning. ASRS automates material distribution and storage, while AGVs swiftly transport them to the production line, cutting lead time from 2 days to just 2 hours. To optimize production, we deploy PCBA automation solutions, aiming to reduce online labor by 35 to 50% and automating board function testing. Pioneering in-house COBIT design drives our innovation. Our auto system integration seamlessly adapts across multiple product lines, ensuring consistent quality, leveraging robotic arms and fixture systems for unmatched productivity, and propelling us toward 30% assembly automation. Test stations powered by multi-server nodes enable simultaneous testing of over 1,000 servers, ensuring scalability and reliability. With digital twins, we redefine manufacturing excellence.
So this is our progress, and it is still underway. And we have seen a lot of machines that help us move. And this is our presentation. Thank you.